Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we're helping the world experience what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the amazing expert co-authors of a new book that we have coming out. This one is called High Vibrational Wellness: Intuitive Healing Therapies to Nourish Your Body Temple. So before I introduce these authors to you, I just want to say a huge thank you to Svante Wolken. Svante is our lead author of this book. And Svante, I'm so grateful for you. We would not be here without you and your big mission and vision for bringing these high vibe kinds of therapies to the world. So thank you for that. This book is a gift, and I cannot wait for you all to meet our authors in this interview series. So we've got Angela Aurora Medway Smith. She's the Practical Mystic, a Welsh spiritual channel, healer, author, life and soul alignment coach, and retreat producer, whose mission is to make energy healing available to all and foster holistic wellness worldwide. With 35 years of study and practice in the natural healing arts of yoga and massage, Candy Taylor Love brings postural alignment and breathing awareness techniques to people for discovery of their own well springs of health, harmony, and magic in daily living. And Charlotte Warren is a dream builder life coach and the owner of Aroma Oracles, where she assists others to reconnect to joy and ease. I hope you all feel the goodness in those bios already. Oh my goodness. Okay, Charlotte, you're going to start the party off. Tell us about your amazing chapter.
Hi, thank you so much. Yes, I'm the owner of Aroma Oracles, and I am chapter 21. It's called Breaking Through the Static. Why I chose this topic, I've experienced a lot of trauma in my life, so I wanted to assist others to get through their trauma and find that joy and ease in their life again.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you're gonna have to tell us more. What did you choose to teach us for a tool in this chapter?
I chose to do the Aroma Freedom Reboot. It's a modality that was created by a psychologist named Dr. Benjamin Purkis. And I'm certified and trained in that. It's much more detailed, but I just did the little reboot. It's a quick little reset that you can do to kind of get past the triggers when you're in a moment of trigger. It's a simple, quick reboot that you can use with essential oils and breathing techniques.
Essential oils are really honestly one of my favorite modalities and favorite topics. It's funny, I was getting ready for the interview today and I have my diffuser over here next to me. And I was, sometimes when you're a little tired, you're starting your morning off and you wish you had 3 cups of coffee, but that's not a good idea. So I put my peppermint, a little black pepper, I put juniper berry in there, and I'm diffusing it. And already I love aromas in general. They just jazz me up. What else do you want to tell people? What do you think is the most important thing to know about essential oils in terms of helping people?
The biggest aha that I experienced with essential oils, when you're using a pure essential oil and you're inhaling that pure essential oil, it's actually going into your olfactory senses and hitting the limbic region of your brain. And when it hits the limbic region of your brain, that's where all your memories and your emotions are stored. So when the essential oil goes in, its job is to clean off all those receptor sites of your cells so that they can communicate better with each other. So it literally, in that 2 seconds, inhaling that pure oil literally helps you think clearer and takes you out of that static.
So, like, you might be having a moment of anxiety, and maybe you know why, and maybe you don't know why. Like, you're just feeling it, right? When I feel it like in my chest. And I feel that, oh, like, why do I feel that way? Right. So is that what you mean? Like, whether it's trauma related or not, what do you want people to know about that piece?
Yes, exactly. Whenever you feel a moment of out of balance, like you're not in that harmony of your day and you feel off balance. It could be something so simple as somebody cut you off when you're driving and you get that little trigger. It's something so simple as that, or your computer not turning on, simple little things that could be, it's like, oh, I need to just have a little reboot.
Tell us your three favorite oil aromas.
Ooh.
I know it's hard. I see all
As
the
you can tell
bottles in
behind
your,
me.
I know. I'm looking at that going, she's never going to be able to answer that.
Well,
What do
I
you use
did.
the most, do you think?
So my daughter is high functioning autistic and has a lot of anxieties and that sort of thing and gets overwhelmed easily. So I created a little blend that I like to call Bliss Mix, and it has a lot of great hormone oils. It has like vetiver and lavender, a little bit of patchouli, vanilla, and they're just really calming oils in that blend together. I probably use that a lot. I Since I used it with my daughter, I ended up using it with my clients, and my clients fell in love with it. And so it became part of, I use it with almost every session.
I
Yeah,
love it.
that's probably my favorite.
I love listening to the mix in that recipe. And that's the thing, you guys, is when you have an expert who can do that for you, they can help you with a blend that's very tailored to what is going on with you and your issue. Charlotte, thank you. Thanks for saying yes to this project. And thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So, Angela, you're up next. Tell us about your amazing chapter.
Hi, Laura. Thank you so much for this. I've written chapter 9, which is raise the vibration of the food you eat. And so, how to transmute toxins and pollutants with the violet flame. So, the violet flame is one of the energy frequencies that I work with. So, Laura, you know me of old. I've written about the violet flame many, many times. I'm absolutely passionate about it. It's the most powerful energy frequency available to us on this planet for transmuting and transforming negativity into positivity.
So, I have read your work about this a few different times. Here's what I would love for you to help us with. Um, is the first step, or could the first step be a visual of that? Do I need to know what it looks like, or can I meditate on what comes up in me as it looks like a violet flame? Like, if you were going to start someone off using this modality, how would you
Yeah.
do it?
Well, as the tool in the chapter, I've actually given a visual for people to download. So I've actually given them the 7-pointed star, which is the violet 7-pointed star is the sacred space of the violet flame. But there's loads of stuff out there. It's been known to mankind for over 100, well, for millennia, but in our most recent time, since the late Victorian time, people have been working with the violet flame. It's been more available. So you can even find stuff on YouTube, beautiful meditations with the violet flame on YouTube. But what you won't find is how to actually use that for specifically raising the vibration of the food you eat. So that's what I'm writing about.
I love this topic. I feel like the food thing might be sort of a final frontier for me in terms of vibration, high vibrational living.
Mm.
But when you wrote about what you were eating and what you were feeling even before you ate the food, I don't know, I resonated with those pieces of your chapter. And the biggest thing was that changed over your lifetime, and to pay attention to the changes in the feeling, right? What do you want to tell people about that?
Absolutely. We need to be intuitive about the food that nourishes our body, not just to stick to the same old, same old. Our body has an intelligence, and, you can even use your body and douse the food that you eat. And Savante's all about intuitive food therapy. So, this is the right book to be writing about food. But for me, it was about a journey where, first of all, my body rejected meat. And then after 7 years, I was able to eat meat again. So it was a really powerful journey for me. And the tool that I'm sharing is one that can help lots of people if when they're making big transitions and when they want to be more mindful about the vibration of what's actually on their plate and everything that's led to that food being arriving on their plate. You know, we know when people have cooked food with lots of love, we can taste it, we can feel it. You know, the energy of love is poured into it, and we can tell when it hasn't. And if we're eating on the run, then we can change the vibration of those foods with simple little prayers and simple little practices. So that's my tool.
I love it. Angela, thank you. Thank you for writing about this topic, for being here today.
My pleasure.
Candy, tell us about your amazing chapter. Oh, unmute, Candy, unmute. She was going for it too. I'm like, oops.
Okay, second try. Good morning. I'm just delighted to have followed these two incredible authors. And part of this whole journey of joining this book is who else is in the book of the talents and the inspirations. And so thank you. And thank you for Laura for hosting this. So my chapter is chapter 11. It is the being breath, cultivating your natural rhythm for life. So my journey has been very long. I love the aging process because of experience and wisdom that comes. And so I've been culling. How do I present all of this knowledge in a vast study of yoga, vast study of touch, movement, and massage has been my life, which means all the tools from meditation to essential oils to foods. It's very broad. So when Savanti contacted me and said, hey, how about you and high vibrational wellness? The three words all said, wow, okay, that high. Which my goal is to say, people rise up, be who you were meant to be, own the gifts you've been given. And wellness is a natural state. We don't have to make it up. It's one we're gifted, we need to nourish. And vibration, that's all we are. We're alive. And the vibrations are through senses that the other two ladies have talked about, smell and taste, all deal with the breath. So if we don't have the breath, we don't have vibration. If we don't have a breath and vibration, we don't have life. So that process, it said the being breath. And so the journey has been practicing so many different types of breath and different techniques. And I got to what's at the bottom of all that, what's the core of it? It is the natural breath. So it was logical to say, what is our natural rhythm? What is everyone's natural rhythm that sustained us all day long with 20,000 breaths a day, 17 to 20, different who you are and how you are in the world? It's always there. It doesn't come and go any more than our senses do. So how do we then live a life that's present and aware and conscious with a tool that's there all the time already? We're not making it up. We don't have to wear special clothes. We don't have to buy special things. It's our own presence within ourselves to say, I'm here now and I'm breathing.
I like your focus being back on the natural, normal breath. There's so many different kinds of profound breathwork techniques out there to try. I think you all should try all of them because they're amazing. But even just listening to you talk about the normal, natural thing that happens without me having to do anything actually regulated it for me just now. Like it helped me move out of a breath hold. And I think that for me has been one of the awarenesses that's helped the most. What else do you want to help people with there?
So how do we stay present in our bodies? The main thing we do is we go out and we're drawn out by technology and by events and by thoughts. So it is coming into yourself. And one of the tools that I've been blessed to be exposed to and then developed is what I call rooting. And it's being in your body through your bones that actually face the planet. Earth is what has the gravity drawing us down. It's a good thing. So just being able to root yourself through it's an imagination versus a thought, actually. Just being very creative within yourself. I said, how do I root? I mean, we're all sitting. So our sitting bones and our coccyx face the planet. Our shoulder blade points face the planet. So just let all those bones feel like they're rooting and growing, literally growing roots into the planet. No force, no effort. Just how would that be? And we want, excuse me, not palm trees. I live in Florida, but oak trees. They go out in all directions. And that becomes and the word grounding is often used to do that and to feel that. Yet what I liked about rooting was it comes back up. In other words, every trees they root down to stabilize and support. Yet what comes up is all the nourishment of the planet. And so that's what we receive. That's the rising part. Excuse me. A little water. So the rising part is taking ourselves internally. So none of this is the external. I mean, all the poses of yoga and all the mention the breathing techniques, they're all how to do things and to do things. And it's like, our name is human being. So the being is this rooting is a way of being. It's not doing the rooting. And so the rising is coming into the front of your spine, not the organs, not the muscles, but with an imagination, and let yourself rise up in front of the bones of the center of the body. So the front of the coccyx, the front of the sacrum, the front of the lumbar, the front of the thoracic. So there's this internal, so there's this two-way movement, which is always in breath and out breath. And so that pattern is something at any time, at anywhere, you can be with yourself in a moment.
Love it, Candy. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing with us. I don't know about you all, but I just had some lovely visuals that kind of inspired my imagination to imagine what I'm doing with the breath in rooting. I like the idea of the bones that are facing the planet, but I also love the idea that then we can grow and give outward from that rooted place. Y'all are so brilliant. A huge thank you to all of you real quick, just for not just for saying yes to this, but taking the challenge I gave you to put this magic in black and white in a book in a way that our readers could have some practical things to play with and try and experiment with. You guys, this is an incredible book with beautiful, vulnerable stories, but you're going to have an entire collection of practical tools about this high vibe living. Angela, I'm going to start with you for this next one. You know, we healer people love to talk about ourselves as guides. We know that we don't fix people. We can facilitate the process. We can guide the process of helping people connect with that inner wisdom that everybody has, right? Help them feel empowered. What's a message that you have for our listeners to help them connect?
It's all about intention and being ready to make that change, to let go of what doesn't serve you and to bring in new frequencies, higher vibrations, whatever way you want to change your life. So the healing journey is different for everybody, and where no person is alike, and so different tools will suit different people. I mean, this is what I love about Brave Healer Books, is that we have such a huge range of tools. There is always going to be something that is going to suit you in this book. Whoever's listening to this podcast, there will be at least one that will sing to your soul and that will make a huge difference in kickstarting your healing journey. So yeah, be open and explore this in incredible volume.
Thank you, Angela, for that. That's one of the missions around here. And to have the toolkit, but also I think all of you might agree you've experienced a time where you're using the same tool a lot, and then all of a sudden it's not working as much as it did before. So it's okay to shift and try a new tool, right? So we need the variety, and we also need to realize that one thing may not work the same for everybody, or it may not work the same every single time for you. That's why we love the toolkits, you guys. Candy, how about you? What would that message of empowerment be to our listeners to help them connect today?
This is a one of those broad questions that could go on forever. So
I know it.
I was glad not to go first, because like, okay, let me cull this. And I'll probably follow what Andrew was saying in choice, and that we find that we want to belong, and so therefore we find a group that we like, and we find a technique we like, and we stay with it. And one of the early things in yoga, I realized that I had been in a pattern that was all successful. It wasn't like I had a bad life, but it was in one path. And when I was introduced to these variety of tools, it was like, wow, I have more choice. And I not considered that word. And I remember someone very early saying to me, "Oh, how could you stand, yoga and vegetarian and all these things you can't do and you can do, and but more about what you can't do." And I went, "Gee, I didn't think it was narrow. I thought the road was just widened." I didn't find like I had less that I could choose from, but actually more. And so it will be the aging process that as we do change, the body's constantly evolving. There's no time where, as an infant or a teen or a 20s or 30s. And now that I can be an elder age, it's like, wow, I don't want to do anything that I used to do that way. I still want to do things, but it's not that's less than. It's just that change is really wonderful. Nothing stays the same. And that is exciting. It doesn't end until our last breath. But even that, and I've had the blessing to assist people in that moment, there's this wonder that happens. Not, oh, yes, I don't mean to dismiss sadness and loss, but it's this like, wow, and what is now? So it comes from that remembering that our journey is a journey. It has a beginning and end. We didn't come with an infinite time. We came with an infinite abilities. And that means that we can choose to evolve at any moment, and it doesn't make us wrong or right. It just is evolution.
Love it. I love it. I love the idea of change, and for people to embrace that. Life is change, constant. And I think there are some people that have so much anxiety over wanting to control everything and not have anything change. And that is a problem, isn't it? Because life is about changes. Charlotte, how about your answer to this? What would that message be to people to help them get a little bit deeper into that inner wisdom, connect there for themselves?
Yeah. Following up after Angela and Candy, you guys summed it up pretty well. I embrace change as well. I know for some it's very challenging because we get very comfortable, and there's expectation, and there's a certainty that happens, but there is evolution, and we are, whether we like it or not, are evolving beings. So once we can embrace, like what Candy was saying, that there's more. It's not about letting go, like cutting yourself off, like Candy said. It's the expansion of more, like how, like what else can happen, what are the other possibilities. And when we can step into that energy of choice, like Candy had said, having that choice and understanding, like, wow, there's so much more to see, there's so much more to experience. And when you're able to experience those new things, then the things that we get stuck on, I guess, for like the past or any of the traumas or anything like that, seem to become just a page in previous chapters, that we are able to kind of move through our own storybook and that sort of thing. I'm going to piggyback off of Candy, that the possibility of choice, that for me personally, in my experiences through life, like when, like Candy said, like having that aha moment of like, whoa, I get to choose what I get to do. I get to, that is so empowering and so uplifting, and understanding that, like, yeah, every day's an adventure. I wonder what life's going to bring me today. It's just, it's a beautiful thing. So I find that very empowering as well. And understanding that when challenges or contrasts happen, it's the language that we need to hear for our evolution as well. It's the language. It's not, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening to me. It's like, what's the possibilities in this? Having that little just pivot, in perspective is incredibly empowering.
That is huge. What else is possible is my go-to. Curiosity. What else is possible?
May I add one thing as this has been unfolding on this change idea? I remember working with a client who we were at that point of what do they want more of? What do they want to change? And he said, you know what? I'm good as I am. And this light bulb went on for me. It's like, wow, okay. That was good for him too, because that was his choice. He hadn't realized, not that it was a rut he was in, but the pattern that he'd fallen into. And as we talked about what that was, and got into possibilities, and he'd envisioned a bit. And I said, okay, so do you want this? I mean, now you've discovered it, where are you in that? Because you don't have to do anything different. This is, I'm I'm a facilitator, but what door do you want? And because he had different doors to choose from, he said, not now. And it was another aha moment of, who am I to say, oh, you need to keep going now. This is, I've got the door open. Don't you want it? And I might have even said something like that. And it was just like he was so sad of, wait, he had chosen that path. It was familiar. He said, wait, let me just play with this one now that I know I have it. And that changed also the fact that, it's okay to choose what you have. It was working now that he knew he had it.
Definitely. Golden nuggets of awareness, and all of you are dropping them today. I hope you listeners are really letting those soak in. I hope you're scribbling down on your notebook like I have been today. So I want to get back to the idea of what it means to live a high vibe life. When you find me in practice, I am probably out in nature, basking, quieting my mind, and I definitely have a pen and a notebook. I will process with writing, journaling, poems, all the things, right? But the big piece of that is to get still and get quiet and see if I can quiet the crazy mind that's constantly going with the worries, the little things. So I can choose with awareness to move into that still space, and automatically I feel a higher vibe in just even coming to neutral some days, because some days are tougher than others for all of us. Candy, what does it mean to you to live a high vibe life? If you were going to give us a peek in the window, what would your practice look like? And I know y'all could think of 100 ways you do this. So for today, I just want one.
You knew it was like, wait, it's going to be every morning. When I wake up, I do what's known as Abhyanga. It's a Ayurvedic practice of self-massage, so that you do long strokes and long bones and round strokes on the joints. And so I collect my body, because this is where I'm going to live every day. So I don't actually start with my mind and like, where am I today, and my reflections of, yesterday, today, or what's going on, but more, okay, what's more pragmatic? This is what's going to carry me. And from there, I do some movement in bed. I've created a morning adaptation of yoga for myself, which was be some light twisting and some leg and joint movements that open up the joints without weights. And then I actually do like a back bend out of bed. So I slide off. And that just extends my spine. So I have more space in the trunk of my body, because that's the one that seems to take the hit during the day of, okay, things get heavy after a while, everything's forward or whatever. So I start off each day. I don't think I've actually said this aloud as much, that I choose to be with myself and how much space can I create, because I know during the day gravity will have me, thoughts will have me, emotions will have me, activities will have me, in the sense of doing, of effort and force, and then throughout the day I carry the rise and the rooting and rising and idea, but that little window.
I love what you said. You said, I collect my body. I loved that. I love the way it made me think of my own body. Amazing, Candy. Thank you. Charlotte, how about you? If I was going to look in the window and have a peek at your practice, what does it mean to you to live high vibe?
I was thinking about that when you asked, Candy. I think the first thing that really comes to my mind, my father was a healer as well. And I had a different kind of childhood growing up with him. And I didn't always understand it, but what kind of came to the forefront automatically when you asked that question is just show up. You need to simply just show up. So I do start my morning. I I really try to start my morning with gratitude. That's my biggest thing. I really think that gratitude is the magic key for sure. To be in gratitude for every situation that I'm in. Might not always feel so fabulous, but I try to always be in a space of gratitude. So when I walk through the day, I have gratitude for simply being alive and having the experiences and that sort of thing. That's probably the biggest one. But being conscious of knowing of showing up. So being, no matter what I'm doing, being conscious in what I'm doing, not like just a jellyfish in the ocean, floating around. Like I really focus on having that conscious arrival, I guess you could say. So that's probably the biggest one. I mean, of course I do a lot of other practices and grounding and all those other things and physical activities. But not getting too heavy in my mind. For me, that gets a little overwhelming for me to get, like, oh, I have to sit down, I have to meditate, I have to, you know what I mean? Like sometimes that gets a little overwhelming for me. So knowing like all I need to do is be in gratitude and show up. Like that's number one. So that's probably the main thing for me.
I love it. It's a big thing. Showing up in the present moment, fully conscious of all the things. I mean, that is a profound, big thing. Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you.
Angela, how about you? You're going to close us out today. Tell us what it means to live high vibe for you. What would I see if I'm peeking in your window?
So, like Candy and Charlotte, I have a daily spiritual practice that I do before I even get out of bed. I do the stretches, I do the gratitude, but I bring in the violet flame with an invocation as well. I call in my guides and guardians, and I set my intention for the day to be a channel for divine light. So if I then feel that I want to send some distant healing, then that's the time I'll do it. But that's usually at the end of the day. I end my day in that with the practice as well. But yeah, I think it's really important to have a daily spiritual practice, whatever that means to you. And that again, that can change over time as you change over time. But it's got to be personal and it's got to mean something to you. I think that's the key, really. It's about personal choice.
I love it. I love listening to all of you talk about this. We're going to be helping people with creating that. If you've read the book Miracle Morning, this is a piece of what makes it a miracle, is because that setting that energy intention and high vibe intention will carry through the day. And then like Angela, I always try to end before I'm getting into that sleepy land with more gratitude, or even 3 deep breaths and feeling grateful for those breaths. And then bookending the day like that is pretty badass, you guys. Angela, Candy, Charlotte, thank you so much. Thank you for what you do in the world. And thank you for being here today to share it with everyone.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome, ladies. If you haven't figured this out already, listeners, this is way more than a book. This is a generous community of experts who've devoted their lives to this journey of healing. So drop down into the show notes where I have them all hooked up with their websites and links. Go explore and see what they're up to. It's a lot and it's amazing. And they're there to answer a question that might have come up from the interview today, or you need some support, or you're wondering about something they talked about, right? Please go do that. And of course, you're all invited to join us for the book launch party that we'll have on July 18th. I've got information down below. We'll join with all the authors of High Vibrational Wellness and be doing some fun giveaways that day. If you're listening to this interview anytime after that date, well, that just means you need to hop over to Amazon and grab your copy of this beautiful book. Lastly, today, everyone, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it's time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.